purpose of this hearing is to have a hearing on two nominees for positions within the VA of tremendous responsibility and importance. The ranking member and I will make opening statements. We'll then go to our two distinguished appointees or nominees for their opening statement, and then question and answer on behalf of all of the committee. I want to start this by saying something that's not in my prepared remarks. This morning there was an announcement, or it came to my attention, that the Veterans Administration has screwed up accountability and responsibility for a forever GI Bill provision and benefit. It's going to potentially change by 346,000, the checks of 346,000 veterans. When I heard about it, I said, how can we do that? And it turned out we did it because we weren't watching our responsibility. The change that should have been made in the technology center wasn't made. The checks and balances we have built into the system weren't followed. And there was nobody to really take responsibility. So, and I'm not springing this on our two nominees today because I took them back in the back room before the meeting because I hate people that come in and embarrass anybody. I'm not here to embarrass them for 1 second. Now, if it's a year from now and they're in their position and we're talking about the same thing, I will embarrass the hell out of them. Because it's time that we stopped having a VA that caused its own problems. It's time that our VA caused its own support and brought its support behind it and supported them because they were making the right decisions at the right time, finding out what was wrong and fixing it, and taking pride in their job. We have a lot of great people at the Veterans Administration, a lot of great people. Physicians, technologists, mental health folks, providers of educational services, all types of things like that, changing lives for veterans who've served our country. But they deserve a better VA than we've given them in the past. And the ranking member and I have tried as committee officers, and we tried through Mr. McDonnell as secretary. We tried in other ways with secretaries to get the agency itself to performing at peak performance. I think with Mr. Wilkie in place, that will happen. I've been very impressed, as most of you, all of you that have talked to me have been impressed with Mr. Wilkie. But this is now, I'm talking about this problem today, but it's his problem. The buck stops with him. But we also happen to have the information technology guys responsible. So Mr. Greffeur, and if I missed that French pronunciation, I apologize. Is it Greffeur, is that right? Greffeur. That's close. But it's his responsibility, it's your responsibility now. You're on notice. And I'm going to talk to him as soon as he and I will be together Friday in Atlanta anyway, so we'll have a chance to talk about this. But we're going to take great pride in finding out where we're weak and making ourselves strong. We're going to take great pride in making our agency an agency that's responsive and responsible to our veterans. We're going to keep our promises. We're not going to wake up to stories in the newspaper that we hadn't heard anything about. I just don't want Mike waking up in North Dakota or South Dakota or wherever you might be and reading the newspaper, finding out something happened in the Veterans Administration, and running to a reporter who says, well, you're on the committee, you know anything about this? No. That just shouldn't happen. And that's a breakdown between me and you, or me and the committee, or the committee and the VA. We're going to make sure we know what we need to fix. We're going to fix it. We're going to do it with a smile on our face, a positive attitude, and do it for all the right reasons. We serve the people who have served us, and that's the veterans of the United States military. So I had a nice prepared speech, which I was prepared to give all of you, but it just occurred to me this would be the perfect time to take a real dilemma that had to be contemporaneous with our hearing today and go ahead and address it in a way I want to address everything. That is, identify the problem, locate the person responsible, hold them accountable, and this is where our second nominee comes in today because she's doing the whistleblower and accountability portion that we passed in the changes we made at the VA anyway. So we got all the appropriate characters really here, and then we're the other characters that have the responsibility as well. So we're going to all work together to be a very responsive and responsible Veterans Administration. With that said, I'm proud to introduce the ranking member, John Tester, for any remarks you may have.